Hello, and welcome to another edition of Long Beach Treasures. I'm your host, Harvey Keller. Today we're going to visit a true treasure of Long Beach Polytechnic High School, the oldest school in city of Long Beach. And taking me on a tour is going to be one of the co-principals, Sean Ashley. Sean, thank you for letting us come and visit your school.
Thank you very much, Harvey.
You're a co-principal. Well, who's ultimately responsible for decision making?
Well, myself and Gwen Mack, who's the other co-principal, we divide up the responsibilities. So I have certain areas of responsibility, she has other areas of responsibility, and the ultimate decision depends on what the area is.
And it works well then?
It works just fine.
Okay. And Poly was first started in 1895?
1895. It was the only school in Long Beach at that point.
And probably a few students.
Just a handful of students. The one-room schoolhouse is how it started.
And then the earthquake came in 1933 and sort of did you in?
Well, at one point, Poly was over on 8th and Long Beach Boulevard. It was in a wooden structure. That burned to the ground, as so many buildings did back then. And they rebuilt it here. And then in 1933, we had the big earthquake and knocked down everything but the auditorium.
And then they rebuilt this, and Hugh Davies was the architect. He also did the 20th Century House up in Bixby Knolls and Community Hospital.
Yeah, he was very famous. And a matter of fact, in a moment, I'll show you the administration building, which kind of is shaped as a ocean liner, as a matter of fact. So we'll take a look at that.
And I understand these pillars are from the original building here on campus in the neoclassical design.
Yeah, these stood right in front of campus. There was a big dome in front of campus that kids would walk through, and that all came tumbling down in 1933.
Why are you called the Jackrabbits?
Well, many people thought it had to do with the number of jackrabbits on campus, but what it really was, the track team was so fast back then, is that they took on the name the Jackrabbits because they were so quick. Interesting enough, our track team now is 6-time CIF champions, and so that tradition hasn't changed.
You've had some phenomenal success in your athletic departments, haven't you?
We have had incredible success, and as you may know, Sports Illustrated named Poly High School as the best high school athletic program in the nation.
Wow. What is Polytechnic?
Well, at one point, it means, of course, poly means many and technic means trades. But the name has stuck, although we're now just a regular comprehensive high school. But at one time, we taught many, many different trades here.
And you have quite a few people who are quite well known in the political, entertainment, and athletic world, don't you?
We certainly have that. We have Cameron Diaz. We have Tony Gwynn, who is a Hall of Fame baseball player. This year, starting National League All-Star second baseman was Chase Utley, and he came from Poly High School. We have Beverly O'Neill, who was a mayor over and over again here in Long Beach. We have Keith Kellogg, who is a 4-star general. So we have a wide variety, including Marilyn Horne, who is a well-known opera star.
Did Jeff graduate from here also?
No. He wasn't smart enough to come here. We had to send him up to Jordan.
I'm sure he's going to appreciate that one.
But his son comes here.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So, will you take me on a tour and give me some idea of what Poly's all about?
Absolutely. Let's go over here and look at the 100 building first.
Okay. By the way, while we're walking, I notice you have a beautiful rose garden.
Thank you. The class of 1952 put this in. It wasn't a rose garden at the time, but it was for flowers, and it shapes as a 5-2. So this series of benches make a 5, and the other series of benches over there make a 2. So if you look from up above, you'd see a 5-2 for the class of 1952, who donated it and had it built. Oh.
And this is the main entrance to this school?
This is the 100 building, and as you can see, we have 2 portholes here, and up on top we have what looks like the bridge of a ocean liner. And that was one of the themes that he used when he was designing this building.
It's very much in the modern or modern style, isn't it?
Well, it is. But it's interesting also to know that we get a lot of motion picture shot here because they really like the look of the school and the style of the school. We've had the Insider with Russell Crowe. We've had The Other Sister, which was a movie that had Tom Skerritt in it. We had a movie, American Pie #1, American Pie #2 were also filmed here. We've had CSI filmed here on a couple of occasions.
Do they film while the students are in session?
Well, they do, and we work around them and they work around us.
What's your total enrollment?
On this campus, there's 4,400 students. We have another campus that's over on 16th and Long Beach Boulevard with about another 400 there. So a total of about 4,800 students what we take care of.
That's a large number of students.
You know, the federal government, when they talk about a large school, they talk about 1,300. We have 4,800.
What percentage do you think go on to the university or colleges?
That rate's around just about 80% or so, either go on to a city college or on to a four-year university.
That's still quite good, isn't it?
That's very good. The others go off to work, or many of them go to the military. The military is very big for many of our children.
And you have a PACE program here?
We have a PACE program, which is a high-octane, take no prisoners kind of academic program. There really is nothing else like it, not only in the city of Long Beach, but basically in the Southern California.
Are these for academically excelled students?
These are for kids, just like I have athletes who don't mind going home and practicing basketball for 3 hours every night or football every night for 3 hours. They go home and do homework 3 hours every night, and they don't bat an eye at that.
Are these advanced placement courses or just regular courses?
No, many of the students will walk out of here with 10 or more advanced placement courses under their belts.
So they can earn college credits while they're here?
Many colleges accept it as college credits, so they can go in as a sophomore, which can save thousands and thousands of dollars for parents.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it's amazing.
All right.
Let's go over here and maybe we'll look at the reliefs next.
Okay. Okay, now what are you going to show me over here?
Well, over here are some of the reliefs we have. They're interesting enough because they come from the 30s and the work project administration during the Depression years when President Roosevelt put people to work, and these are artisans who put these reliefs in. So we have them on a number of our buildings. You can see Abraham Lincoln there. You can see, let's see who else is here. This is Leonardo da Vinci. We have Dante up there, I believe. So we have a variety of...
I think I would fail the quiz if you asked me.
We have like 23 different ones here, and we have not been able to identify all of them. Some of them are local people, and some of them are famous. As you can see up on the top right, there is William Shakespeare. So we've identified a number of them, but we're not sure of all of them, to be honest.
Now, this is part of the WPA project. I think you also have some murals.
Yeah, we have, I think, 3 different murals on campus for that.
Could we look at a couple of them?
Absolutely. They're over here.
Okay. Oh, wow.
Well, it is impressive, as a matter of fact. And as you can see, the date on it is 1938 and 1939. It has the name of the 2 artists that did it. It says Work Project Administration there, the WPA and Federal Art Project. And as you can see, it depicts the port and activities that go along with the ocean. So we have anywhere from fishermen to sailors to wheelwrights. We have recreation over here, people in bathing suits. So it's kind of a magnificent mural, as a matter of fact.
Has this been touched up at all from the original painting?
I don't think it's been touched in any way, shape, or form.
Still in great shape there.
We take great pride in this, and because it is just kind of amazing, to be honest with you.
I think there were WPA artwork in many of the schools here in the city of Long Beach.
That's true.
If I'm not mistaken, I think Heritage was going to categorize them and have a list of them.
I think Washington Middle School has some. I think Franklin Middle School. I think Jefferson Middle School. I think Wilson has some. It's mainly the ones that are in the older part of the city and the older schools have them.
I think you have another one that I would like to see. I think it's Mercury.
Yes. That's a tile work, and we can walk over there next.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay. And Harvey, this is another example up here where it looks like the top of, or the bridge of a ship. You see they use the same type of style that they used in the 100 building. Also, as you can see, the green part, we think that's copper that has turned over the years in color. So they do things to schools back then. They had money for it. They don't have money when they build them now. They also do some funny things architecturally. For instance, we have these stairs that go up to a roof. Now, you'd never put that in a school today. For some reason, they thought that was a good idea back then.
You know, ironic though it is that since Hugh Davies was the architect here, and I said he also did the 20th century house, and in the 20th century house, they have a lot of nautical themes in it.
So it must have been his thing that he kept using over and over again. Plus you're in a port city, and that would be part of it as well.
And by the way, that was the Kellogg's home.
Ah.
Now we're going down here, and you're going to show me another mural?
Yes. This is more of a tile work. And as you can see, the date on it is 1935. It talks about speed is the greatest factor in modern life, and as it turns out, they thought speed was an airplane, and of course Mercury, which was the messenger of the gods, and a locomotive, which obviously they hardly even work in the era of speed in modern life. With the internet now, which they had no idea of, and jet planes and rockets and space shuttles. It was a different time.
I'm surprised how well these are maintained for being from 1935. That's what, almost 70-some years ago.
Well, it's not just that. It's interesting enough that the kids take care of them as well. The kids do not face them. They don't ride on them. They really kind of cherish them. They have a real respect for that. That's part of Poly's whole demeanor, to be honest with you, is that they really appreciate the type of architecture and everything about the school.
Do you have an eclectic mix of ethnic backgrounds here at the school?
You know, we have no ethnic group here at Poly High School larger than about 30%, and our largest percentage would be our Asian percentage, which is mainly Cambodian, and then African Americans around 25 or so, and Latinos around 25, and then with white and Filipino and Pacific Islander, the rest would be about another 25.
So it's pretty evenly distributed.
It's very evenly distributed, and that really works well for us because then kids, there's no power base, there's no large group of kids and everybody else wishing they were that group type of thing. It's very evenly dispersed.
By the way, do they have to wear uniforms here?
They do not have to wear uniforms here.
That's only in middle schools?
That's in elementary schools, middle schools, and at high schools, Millikan and Wilson both require uniforms. We do not.
Any particular reason?
We had just never gotten into the uniform mode. Where those other schools felt that would help them, we just haven't gone there with us.
All right, where are we going to go now?
Well, let's just see. Oh, I've got another one over here to show you.
All right.
Okay, so we're at nutrition now. And as you can see, we have a wide variety of kids, a lot of students, all having their morning break. They have 15 minutes to get their break, get a little something to eat, and they're back in class in 15 minutes.
What time does school start?
7:55, and it goes till 2:40 in the afternoon.
And how many periods a day?
We are on a block system, so we have 3 hour-and-a-half blocks that they meet every other day with. So they have 3 classes on one day, 3 classes on the other day, but we always have period 7, which is our athletic period and an extra period.
Now, do you have any auto shop or any type of...
We still have an auto shop. We still have a print shop. We still have architectural design. We also have electronics. Those are the 4 main ones that we have left over from the old days. We'd like to put in a construction one. We just don't have the space at the moment.
It seems like there's a push to bring back some of the trades into the classroom.
You know, I think for a long time the trades have been looked down upon, and those are serious, vital occupations that we need qualified people to do. And so, yeah, I think we're working very hard on bringing those back. The problem with them is they take large classrooms and large amount of spaces, and in some cases we've given up those classrooms and we have to reclaim them for that purpose.
I think probably because they didn't think it paid very well and it was lower class. But I was talking to someone who said over at Boeing, just people who are general laborers hourly can well make over $100,000 a year.
Oh, I think with overtime, when you're qualified, that's absolutely true. And we need qualified plumbers and mechanics and artists and all those different occupations that make up the world.
How long have you been in education?
About 30-some years. And 11 years as principal here at Poly High School.
You've been here 11 years?
11 as the principal.
Oh, okay. Well, let's go check something else out.
Okay.
You know, while we're coming in, I want to compliment you on how clean this campus is.
Oh, I appreciate it. But first of all, the custodians do a great job in that area, and the students take care of it. They, like I've said before, take great pride in being here at Poly. The students that are here are the ones that want to be here. If they don't want to be here, we let them go to another school. So the students that are here by choice.
I noticed lockers. Do you still use the lockers?
We don't use the lockers at all. First of all, we don't have enough for everybody. And the second of all, they are a huge cost of having to repair them and change them and fix them all the time, so it's a constant cost.
So it's backpacks instead of lockers?
Well, they only have 3 classes a day, so they don't have to carry all 6 classes worth of books. They only have to carry 3 classes worth of books. So this is the other mirror we've been talking about.
This is an impressive
ceiling facade, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought so too, and it's interesting. Even though I was a student here in the 70s, I barely even remember this. So kids walk under this ceiling every day and ignore it, and we look at it now and say, gosh, that is amazing.
It really is. And this is another WPA mural?
It's another WPA mural. As you can see, it's been relocated here. It wasn't here originally, and I really don't even know where it was. I think at one point we found it in a closet somewhere. It had been removed from its location, put in a closet. As you can see, there are some breaks, and I think it's on wood, and it's been reassembled and framed and hung over the 100 building.
Could we maybe go check out a classroom?
Absolutely.
Sean, before we go into the classroom, what's the average class size?
We have about 37 students in a class, and to be honest with you, these classrooms were not made for 37 students. They were really made for something more like 30, and they weren't made for the big bodies that we have these days. The 1930 body and the 2000 body is much, much larger, and so those classrooms are pretty crowded.
Now, some classes like foreign language classes would probably be smaller than, say, an English class or a government class.
Actually, the English classes at 35 are our smallest classes, and everybody else pretty much has 37. Now, we provide 5 foreign languages here. We provide French, Spanish, German, Japanese, and Chinese here.
Oh, wow, Japanese and Chinese both.
And we have the largest Japanese program in the United States.
Well, what's your faculty? How many faculty members do you have?
We have over 180 teachers. And then we have about another 50 or so auxiliary staff members, counselors, administrators, grounds crew, custodians.
Oh, another apprentice, huh?
It's just another whole group of people. Yep.
Well, let's go in and check out a classroom.
This would be a German class with one of our German teachers, Miss Bezzaretti. This is it.
So, like, ja. Es war, wie hat es dir gefallen? Was bedeutet das? Wie hat es dir gefallen? What do I like? Sehr gut. So, antworten wir. Antworten. What do you like? Let's make up something.
Football.
Okay. Fußball, so, Es gefällt, sehr gut, mir und zum Beispiel hier Fußball, ja? Fußball, amerikanischer Fußball, sehr gut. Gut. Wie war es? Wie war in der Stadt? Wie war in der Stadt? RJ, wie war in der Stadt? How was in the city? Okay, make up something. Es war sehr gut, sehr gut. Es war sehr langweilig.
Miss Bezzaretti, could I interrupt you for just a moment? I brought you an apple. Will that give me a good grade?
Thank you very much. Yes, you are getting an A+.
Now, how long have you been teaching?
2 years.
Oh, and do you like it?
I love it.
And this is your favorite class?
Well, one of my favorite classes.
Oh, okay. Why did you select German instead of one of the other languages?
I was already taking Spanish, and I just wanted to learn some other language, I guess.
How many years of language is required for graduation?
I think at least 2 for some universities. Some universities require 3 years, or they like to see as more as possible.
Well, good. I just wanted to stop in and see a typical classroom, and I
Well,
assume this is a typical classroom.
Thank you for stopping by.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. Take care.
Okay, so let's continue. Wie war im Olympiastadion?
Sean, tell me about the mural in the library.
That's another mural done by the art department here, and it's the flags of the nationalities of where all the students come from. And as you can see, there's about 72 flags up there. It was done in the late 80s, and part of the interesting part is that there's a picture of Waldo. When you find "Where's Waldo?" 3 times on that mural, and that's just kind of a thing of the 80s that they put in at that time. Interesting enough that we had a group of principals from China come and talk to us, and they wanted to know why the Chinese flag wasn't up there. Out of all the flags, they looked up and they said, well, why isn't China up there? And I said, well, probably we weren't very good partners at that time, or neighbors at that time. That's obviously changed, and I need to change my mural. But the first question out of their mouths was, why wasn't there a Chinese flag up there?
Another fine example of murals.
Oh my gosh, you know, it was a thing of the time, and back then, I guess us and Chinese were not getting along.
Hopefully everything is better now.
Oh, it's much better.
I see it says, enter to learn, go forth to serve.
That's the school motto, and it's interesting because Billie Jean King mentions that when she talks about Poly High School, how she walked underneath that every year or every day going into school and looking up at that and saying, oh, I get what that means. And of course now she's the president of the Women's Tennis Association in New York City.
And this is the main entrance to the campus?
This is the main entrance. We use it in the morning and the afternoons. Otherwise, we use most of the kids come in through because we can control it better on the side of the campus. But this is the main entrance of the school.
And I see, is this a new sign up here?
There's a brand new sign up there, our new marquee, which not only do we put up announcements of things that are coming up, but when students get accepted to universities, we like to put their names up there and what university they're going to give them a little recognition for all the hard work they put into and where they're going on to further their education.
I noticed it said ROTC. Do you have an ROTC program?
We have a large ROTC program, and it's very popular. It has more than 200 cadets in it. They do a lot of community service. They help with many of the parades. They work up in Bixby Knolls when they have their events. They work the Martin Luther King Parade when it's on Martin Luther King Avenue behind us. So they do a lot of good work as well as learn to what it takes to be in the military.
So they serve before they leave.
They serve before they leave. They get PE credit for it, so that's part of their PE class. And to some students, it's what keeps bringing them back to school.
Good. And we need something that keeps them interested in bringing them back.
Absolutely. And last year we had 4 students from our senior class accepted into the major academies. So we had 2 going to West Point, 1 going to the Naval Academy, and 1 went to the Air Force Academy. So 4 out of a class is pretty substantial.
That's impressive.
It's very impressive.
All right, let's go on in.
All right.
Ah, what a nice swimming pool.
Indoor swimming pool in Southern California. There just aren't too many of them, to be honest with you.
This has to be Olympic sized, isn't it?
It is actually, it's not quite long enough for Olympic size. This is in feet, which is how they used to build them. Now it has to be in meters, and obviously the two don't match, and it's really hard to elongate a swimming pool.
Do you have a good swim team and water polo?
Well, this year our water polo team won the Moore League for the first time in about 20 years, so they did a wonderful job this year. And again, in Southern California, you wouldn't think that you'd have an indoor pool, but for whatever reason they decided to cover this, and all of these swimming pools in the Long Beach Unified School District are covered. This has been used for a number of commercials, as well as Cold Case has done a piece in here, as well as CSI has done a show in here.
You know, when I taught at Warren High School in Downey, Downey High School was our crosstown rivals each year. Do you have one?
Wilson High School.
That's your main competitor?
That's our main competitor.
And who wins?
Depends what sport we're playing. Sometimes we're on top, sometimes they're on top.
But it's always a good game.
It's a good game, and we like beating them, and they like beating us.
Is PE still required?
PE is required. You have to have four semesters or 2 years of PE. And if some of the students don't pass it, they have to take it in summer school. They have to take it over again.
And what kind of activities?
They do a variety of activities. There's running, there's weightlifting, there's dance, there's all the sports that they do. They spend a lot of time on physical sports such as stretching and teaching the kids how to keep physically fit. That's the main focus of the classroom, is teaching skills and teaching lifelong fitness.
And this is required of everyone?
Everyone has to take and pass 4 semesters of PE to get a diploma.
We don't have a lot of time left. Is there any last thing you want to show me?
I will show you one last thing. It's another mural, but it's a newer mural.
All right, let's check it out. Wow, this is an impressive mural. Who painted this?
Students and a teacher designed the whole thing, and this is the history of Poly over the last 100 years. You can see the old building here when it was down on 8th and Long Beach Boulevard. And this is the one that burned to the ground. We have a picture of, and it starts off in black and white. It starts moving into color as we get further around, just like TV at one time was black and white, then moved into color. And we have famous people. David Bertram, who was principal from 1907 to 1941, the longest...
Boy, that's a long time to be principal.
The longest sitting principal for Poly High School. By the way, I am second longest at 11 years.
Are you going to beat his longevity?
I am not going to get anywhere close to that. Here's our earthquake and everything coming down. We talked about those pillars. The pillars up there on top are now around the, we saw them at the beginning of the show, are now around the flagpole. So this is the closing, and I talked about it was at the dome.
Hey, when we talked about famous people who graduated from here, we forgot to mention Thomas Murphy.
Thomas Murphy, yes. And we need to get him a new hat, by the way, because he keeps wearing that same hat at all the...
Beverly gave that to him.
Oh, did she? Well, we need to get him a new one, because I think it's been a while there.
Oh, here's some of our Marilyn Horne.
Marilyn Horne, and some of them are just famous people in history. Over here we have John Rambo, who graduated from here. We have Billie Jean King, who has more Wimbledon titles than anybody else.
She graduated from Poly?
Absolutely.
Oh.
Here's Sean Ashley when he was a student here. He's a student body president, student body assistant principal. So famous people are on this one.
Oh, this is neat.
It is kind of neat. It's kind of an interesting history of the
Who was
whole
Robert
school.
Ellis?
Robert Ellis was principal for about 6 years here. And he also went to school here and then came through as the principal.
This is quite an undertaking, isn't it?
Oh, it took him a long time to finish it, as you can see. I think we have Beverly O'Neill up here somewhere. Where's Beverly? Over here?
Oh, there she is.
Yes, we have Tony Gwynn right here. So this is the history of Poly in mural form.
Now, I understand you have a great music program.
I have an incredible music program. And if your child is interested in music, this is the school to send them to. We have won 5 Grammy Signature Awards, and a Grammy Signature Award is put out by the Grammys, and it's for having one of the top 10 music programs in the nation. And that's both vocal and instrumental. We have jazz bands, we have orchestras. We have an orchestra who last year performed with Elmer Bernstein before he died, and he was an Academy Award-winning composer. And so our music program is very substantial here at Poly High School.
Good. Do you put on programs that are open to the public?
Absolutely. We have them in our large auditorium there, and we have them, I don't know, 7, 8 times a year. Sometimes it's vocal, sometimes it's music, sometimes it's a combination of both.
What's your drama department like?
Drama department's really pretty good. They put on 2 performances a year. They do one with, this year they did Little Shop of Horrors, so they did a musical, and it was really very good.
Which would go along with your musical program?
It would go along with the musical program. Obviously, the musicians went over there and accompanied her. They played live as the actors and actresses sang.
I'll have to come and attend one of your performances when I see it in the paper.
It's well worth your time.
Well, Sean, this has been most interesting. I know Poly's been here a long time, and it's going to be here a lot longer. And you're known as a school of champions and scholars?
Scholars and champions, and some people like to say scholars, champions, and musicians.
All right, I'll buy that.
Okay.
I want to thank you for taking me on the tour. It's been delightful, and continued success.
Thank you, Harvey. Thank you for coming to Poly High School today.
My pleasure. And that's our show for this time. Be sure and join us again next month as we take another walk through history and uncover more Long Beach treasures.